All right, Election Day is just 2 weeks away. Late last month, Democrat Wendy Davis and Republican Greg Abbott squared off in a debate. The two candidates touched on a variety of topics from education to health care reform and immigration. Another hot-button issue is the voter ID law. A U.S. Supreme Court decision allowed Texas to enforce the strict voter ID through November 4th. Abbott supports the law. Democrats fear it could hurt voter turnout. But we haven't heard from the Libertarian candidate, Kathie Glass, and she's joining us now. Thank you so much for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
We saw your bus come in, and you were telling me you've visited more than 250 counties in Texas, all of the counties in Texas.
Right, all 254, and El Paso was the 254th county. We saved the best for last.
You know, I have to ask you, what motivates you to invest the time and the energy in running this campaign when there's not a clear path of victory for a libertarian?
I know there's a clear path for destruction of our liberty if we don't act, and everyone needs to do the best that he or she can. I want to be Texas governor to unite Texans, to fight two threats to our liberty: an out-of-control, tyrannical federal government and a state government corrupted by cronyism.
Wow. So for people who may not be paying close attention, start by sharing with us a little bit about the values of the Libertarian Party.
Well, it's live and let live. We treat people as individuals. Everyone's equal. No one's better than anyone else. So you should be able to live your life the way you want to, as long as you don't interfere with other people's right through force or fraud to live their lives. So we're for, translating that into political terms, we're for very small, limited constitutional government, the kind we're not getting now.
And, you know, I think in principle that sounds so alluring to a lot of people. I guess what people want to know is if the party is viable. Libertarians have been around for more than 40 years, and it seems like you perennially hear that they're just about to turn the corner. Do you think it's ever going to happen?
Oh, I know it will happen, but I think two things have to happen first. One of the two major parties has to basically implode, and I think they're doing that. But the Libertarian Party has to itself step up. When I say to save our country, our Constitution, our liberty, we've got to chart a new course, I'm saying everybody has to think outside the two-party box, and they want to look at the Libertarian Party and see that we're active, we're serious. That's what our bus tour 254 is all about, going out to people, not waiting for them to come to us, but getting the message of liberty out there. And I can tell you that it resonates with Texans. Texans have differences. We're different all over Texas. We have unique diversity in Texas, but we have things that unite us, and that's what we're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do, is find the things that unite us, not the things that divide us.
I wanted to ask you, you know, it's become fashionable for some people to say, I'm a small L libertarian.
Hear that all the time.
Right, they believe in your principles, but feel that voting for, quote, a capital L libertarian really helps facilitate the victory of the candidate least committed to personal liberty. Do you have to find a way to win some races to change that mindset, or is it incrementally growing your share of the vote?
I think it's both. We don't need to just focus on doing one thing. We can multitask on this when we need to. But think about this. For 20 years of Republican rule in Texas, they've had every statewide office holder had the House and the Senate and supermajorities at times, yet we haven't got more liberty through that process. So I think the hypothesis has been tested that you can get liberty through the Republican Party, and the hypothesis has failed. We have higher taxes, higher spending, more debt. We have the second highest per capita debt in the nation. We have more assault on our property rights, on our privacy rights, our civil rights, and we have a more out-of-control federal government and no one effectively pushing back. So it's time to chart a new course. Don't stay the course with the failed two-party system. Come chart a new course with me, Kathie Glass, and the Libertarian Party.
Okay, looking at your flyer here, speaking of charting a new course, you mentioned restore Texas sovereignty. Tell us what you mean by that, because some people may read that and think that sounds radical.
It's not secession. It's just enforcing the Constitution, our 10th Amendment sovereignty, as we are supposed to be under our Texas and our federal Constitution. It means making decisions for ourselves that we have deferred to the federal government and had a bad result as a result. One example, we need to have a Made for Texas guest worker program like we've had in times past. Instead, we've let the federal government assert the right to fix this broken immigration system, and it hasn't. So if we start making decisions for ourselves, controlling our own destiny, we can have things that we've never had before. We can solve the problems on the border and have more peace and prosperity.
Okay. Kathie Glass, thank you so much for joining
Well,
us, the
thank you.
Libertarian candidate in the race for Texas governor. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.